Hi my lovely beading people! How are you today? Today I'm going to teach you how to make this wire heart. I first made the structure of the heart and then I took some fine wire and I wrapped it with beads. So let's start. First, the things you need. You need a mix of beads. You can use any beads you like as long as they're smaller than about 5 millimeters. They can be much larger. You can have chips and they can be a little larger. But if you have smaller ones, that's better, because how I can show you on the other pendant how smaller the beads are, how more defined your heart will be. And if you use bigger pieces, it can be a little bit a different structure. You need some wire. You can use any kind of wire you like, as long as it's very thin. So this is the special wire for the really fine wire wrapping. You can use this in a color. I use a red one, but you can also use a silver one or a gold one, just what you have. You need a mix of seed beads. I just use crappy beads, so these aren't expensive beads, just crappy beads, and I really like these. They are a bit shiny and that kind of things. But what I like the most about these beads is that the holes are a little bit bigger, so my wire can go easily through the holes of the beads. You need some thicker wire. I don't know which gauge this is, but if I measure it with my measuring device, this is 1.20 millimeters. So I don't know which gauge that is, but it's a very strong hard wire. As you can see, this is the structure of the wire, and I can't really bend this with my fingers. You need some pliers, you need a cutting tool, you need a flat nose plier, and you need a round nose plier. And for the last, you need a small ring to hang your pendant on. This pendant is going to hang this way. So it's going to hang down with the heavy side on the bottom, and you can hang it on a normal necklace, so a fine silver necklace, or you can use some leather cord, or maybe really anything you like. You can do all kinds of things with these. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to need the heavy duty wire. And we're going to cut a piece. Mostly you get this wire in a round shape, so you just cut one round. You can make this as big as you want. I like to make it a little bit larger, so you can see the pendant I already made fits on the front of my hand, so over on my fingers, because then you really have something you can hang big on your chest, and I really like this, and it wears very comfortable. But if you want to make earrings, that you can do too. You can make a little, a more smaller heart, and then you attach the beads in the same way. It's just the same way, only smaller. So you can really do what you like. I'm going to cut one round, like this. Now I'm going to take my round nose plier and I'm going to eyeball the middle of this heart, or sorry, the middle of this round, like this, and I'm going to place it in between the largest part of my round nose plier. If you have a big round nose plier, you should do it about in the middle, but I really need the middle to be quite large, not too small. I'm also going to be careful that I don't pinch my wire to the edges, because then you get a square shape in them, and you don't want that. So about the middle, can be a little bit further, it doesn't really matter. And you're going to bend it outside the curve, so not inside the curve, but outside the curve. So we're not going to bend the wire in, but we're going to bend it out. So like this, just with our fingers. This is soft enough to still do with my fingers. So like this. And now we're going to take our heart and just with our fingers bend it a little bit down. Just step by step, do this very slowly and careful. Don't make sharp edges, because you don't want your heart to have all kinds of sharp edges in it. So like this, and then the other side too. Sorry if I'm a little heavy breathing, but I'm having a cold again. You're going to hear that about 200 times more, because I'm always having a cold, or I'm always having trouble with my health. So, but it doesn't bother me, but sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. Like this, you can see you just slowly bend it in a shape that you like. Well, now we're going to take our flat nose pliers and we're going to place that in the middle and going to give that a little bit more bend, like this. Then we're going to take the flat nose pliers and we're going to try to very slowly and carefully just pinch the a little bit in the middle. Not too hard. You don't want to break your wire. Like this. Just slowly pinch it until the middle almost closes. And if you get that your wires are going to overlap, you're just going to pull them out a little bit. Well, I think this is good enough. So, and then I'm going to place my thumb or my fingers under this spot, and I'm going to bend my heart a little bit more down. So this isn't so big. Like this. And you can make this edge as sharp as you like. It's your heart and you can just do with what you want with it. That almost sounds like a wise lesson. Like this. I want it to be a little bit more puffy on this side. Just you're going to bend it in shape, just in the shape that you like. Like this. Now, and if you have about the shape you like, you're going to see where the wires end. You can also make one side a little bit smaller and one side a bit larger. It's just what you like. Just keep in mind that you're going to cover one side. So don't work very hard on the side you're not going to use. This is my pretty side, so I'm going to use this one, and this one I'm going to cover. If you have it the way you want, you're going to take your wire and your thumb and you're going to bend it straight, like this. And then you pinch the other one, see where you want it, and there you're going to bend it straight. Like this. And then you're going to bend the first one up, doesn't matter which one, and the second one down. Like this. And you're going to hook them in each other. Like that. And then you can twist your wire. Then it's going much easier, because you already have the piece of wire overlapping. Now I'm going to use my plier just to give it a little bit more strength. Don't do this too hard, because you don't want your thread to break. And because this wire is very hard, I'm going to bend it 3 times. I did it 2 times now, and then I'm going to snap it off. And it doesn't really matter how this looks, as long as it's strong, because we're just going to cover this, so you're not going to see this anymore. So, a little bit bending. Now I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to cut it off, and I just leave a little tail, and you won't see this anymore when we're finished with this project. Like this. Now what you can do, and this is just optional, if you have an iron file, you can iron the sharp edges. I'm going to do this now. There's no really need to show you that, because it's just I'm just filing the pieces, because I don't want it to be too sharp, and that can damage your beads. But if you don't have a file, you don't need to do this step. So if I did that, I'm coming back to you. Now we can start to cover up our heart. What we're going to do now, we're going to take the fine wire, and I'm just using about 2 arm spans. If you have short of wire, you can just attach another piece in a way you can see it. So if you have cut a too small piece at the end, you can also just add some. It really depends all on how large you make your heart. Now we're going to take the end of a wire, and we're going to place that on the bottom. And I'm just going to wrap it around about 2 times on the bottom, like this, and then I'm going to go inside, and I'm pulling the whole thread through it. And then again I wrap one more time, and I'm going to start at this point, so at the other side, and I'm going to wrap this side. So like this, pull it a little bit snug. And then the end that is sticking out, I'm just going to wrap that around. Like this. Just go the way it wants to go. And just wrap it until it's almost gone, like this. And you will wrap over this, so nobody will see this. Now we're going to start here. And this is really very easy. Just take the end of your thread, and you're going to thread on a few beads. So just in random order, you can do as much as you want, but I recommend doing about not more than 2 centimeters of beads. This is the smaller side, so I'm only using most of my small beads on this side. But you can use larger beads, just what you like. I can show you on the other pendant. On this side here it's a little bit bigger, and this is smaller, and it goes up for the rest of the pendant. This is bigger, and then it goes to smaller. So it's just what you like. You can do any shape you want. I'm going to use a little bit of chips, a few chips, like this. And then you're going to slide them down. Well, as you can see, I have about 2 centimeters on now. And I'm going to just hold my beads and then wrap them around. And I'm going to pull through the middle the whole thread. And I'm just going to go to the middle again. So just wrap it around. It really is, this is not a work of perfection, as most of the wire wrapping techniques. It's just which way it wants to go. And then I'm going to go with my wire to end on the other side again. Like this. And if you have like loose thread, then I'm going to place that in between the beads. Now we have our start now. Now again, I'm going to pick up some seed beads and some other beads that I like. Maybe this one can still be on that place. And you can really arrange the beads the way you want. You can arrange them by putting on the beads on the wire that you like. But you can also arrange them on your heart. And if you want to or have to make a start like this, maybe that's a little hard to arrange your beads already. But if you're a little further in the project and you have some beads under the starting beads, then it's a little bit more easier. So again, I'm just going to wrap it around and pull the wire through the middle. Now, and I'm going to try to arrange this one there. So like this. And I'm going to pull it through the middle again. Like this. Going to hold it here as good as I can. And then wrapping this in the middle again. So just going to through the middle all the time. And then this one is going to go here and again through the middle and wrap it around. And then I'm making one wrap to secure this with no beads on it, like this. I have my start. And really this is all there is to it. That sounds very easy, and it is. It's just the basic shape, the basic wire heart shape, and then just building it up. So I want it to be a little bit smaller here, so now I'm going to take my small seed beads and maybe some of my 2mm beads in between them. And some seed beads. So, like this. Slide them down. And then again just wrap it around. And I'm going to go over the beads. It doesn't really have a pattern. I can't really tell you like, oh, you have to go left or right, because it's so easy. It's just wrapping the beads around, but you have to know like how do you start and how do you make the heart to make this project. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping these around and just let them fall. Also with the wire, you can also, if you wrap it, you can leave a little space so you have a little wire. And then you're going to attach or lay some beads against the wire again. It's just what you like. It doesn't need a pattern. And I'm just going to fill up this space. Like this. Well, really, that's all there is to it. I'm going to show you in time lapse now how I make this pendant. I'm going to build it up. I'm going to make a small piece here, and when I fill that up, I'm going to make the larger piece like I did on the other pendant about here. And my bead turned. Okay, and then I'm going to do that to here, and then I'm going to show you how you can increase decrease. That you do less beads, that's decreasing, I believe. And then how you finish it off. Now I forgot to tell you this, but if you are at this point with the wire sticking out from the heart shape, you really need to cover this well, because you don't want to see this part of the silver wire again. So if you're out about that point, really try to cover it as good as you can, and try to, and I can show you that on my other one, try to have a bead that's like the point of the heart, so the bottom of the heart, because that gives it more shape. So this like this point. Well, as you can see, this is the other side, so this is the bottom, and I'm now and then I look at the bottom if it doesn't have too many holes in it, because if you have many holes, your work can turn. So what I do, I make sure the front looks as best, and then the back I'm trying to fill up with the beads I don't like as much, or just pretty beads, but just to go on the back, so they can be a little bit bigger, so they don't really need to this one look more refined, I think you call it refined, and the back looks a bit more big, but nobody will see this because you wear this piece at your chest. So as long as this is a little bit filled, you're good to go. And now and then I'm wrapping just only my wire without beads, just to make sure it stays in place, and I'm trying to hide the wire as good as possible, but sometimes you can't, but it really doesn't matter, because the wire is also a piece of the pendant, so it's also a piece of the beauty of the pendant, so you don't always need to make sure that you really don't see that. And sometimes I'm just pushing my pendant around just to look like, or to see if I already covered enough, if everything is in the right place, if everything is secure, and if I'm missing some beads somewhere, I will just go back and attach some more beads. Now I'm almost out of thread, and I want to add a bottom piece here. So I'm going to look for a piece that could be the end of my heart. I'm just going to fit this one, see if I like it. I think I need another piece with that one. Oh, pull a little too hard. Let's see. Oh, this one would be perfect, but I don't know if I can get that in the right spot. Let's see. No, that's not the one. Maybe this one. Yes, this could be it. Now I'm going to secure that just like we did before. And now I'm running out of thread, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a bead. I think I will use this one to go to, and I'm just going to wrap this around as good as I can. Maybe this one isn't very smart to do because it's on the front, so I'm going to go to the back. Now, well, I think I'm going for this one because it's a chip and I can wrap around easily. So I'm going to just lift it up a little, and as good as I can I will wrap it around like this, and do it as much time as you can. Oh, pull it off, sorry. So again, I'm going to wrap it around. I told you I was a yanker. I always yank on my beads and stuff. Wouldn't be the first time that I made the whole project and that I just shatter it because I pulled too hard. Now you can use your pliers just to make it a little bit more strong. And then I'm just going to push down the thread between the beads in a hole that I need to cover, still need to cover. And that's how you get rid of your other thread. Now I need to attach some new thread. But unfortunately I only have this color. But I don't think it will look that bad because it's also red. It's a deep dark red. But I didn't have that in mind. But it's okay. So I'm just going to show you now how I take this thread. And I'm just going to place this next to a bead that I can wrap around. I think I will use this one because I want to start here because this just needs a little bit more filling, and then I'm just going to do the same as I did on this side, only use lesser beads and stop there. So I'm just going to place that around a bead I can wrap, and then I will wrap around that bead about 2 times, and I will wrap it around the whole work. So just the same as we did with the other piece. Oh, it doesn't look that bad. And then this piece you will also wrap around that bead. And like we did on the previous thread, just pull it tight and stick it under a bead. And then you can start with the next part. So I'm going to pause my my video now. I'm just going to go like this on and on. Only this part you will make thicker, and like this one. This part is thicker, and this one will be a little bit larger than this one. And then when you go to this part, you're gonna go smaller. You can make this one as big as you like. I wanted to try this one a little bit bigger on the outside, and then really small on this part. So I hope I will succeed. You will see as I go. And when I come to this point, I will come back to you. Now you can see I'm at the end, and I'm going to show you how you can overlap the smallest piece. So I just went through, and I'm going to wrap it around again. And I'm going to start at that small point, and I'm going to take about 3 seed beads, just the small ones, and I'm going to slide them down. And I'm just placing them over the wire, so like this, just a small point, and then I'm again wrap the wire just around, so for one time, and then again I'm going to place my thread above the middle of the heart, and I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads. You can also use more, it just depends. You really have to eyeball yourself how much you need. You can also use 4 or 5, but I use 3, that's enough, because I wrapped it all around with beads. And then again, just the same. Pull through your wire, place the beads on top of your wire, and wrap it around. And then you covered your middle part. Now I'm just modeling this a little bit. Now see if you model it and you rub it around a little bit, if it stays. But this is quite well. I'm not really satisfied with this piece, so I'm going to go back to that. But I'm also going to show you in the same time how I go over the beads again. So I'm taking my wire, and I'm just going to wrap around the beads, and I'm going to check in the front and in the back. Like here I have a hole. Now I'm going to fill up that hole. So I'm going to pick up a bead that will fit in that hole, like this, and then I'm going to just wrap it around. Well, here again, so this is the back side. I have a little hole, so I'm going to, no, well, let's see, I want a flat one. I think this one. Make sure it's all the way down, and I'm just going to wrap that around. So on the front now we just have wire. Now here also a little hole. So you don't really have to fill the back all the way up, because the front of this is small. So we also don't want that. You can see from the front that the back is bigger. And again, place down a bead, like this, and just wrap it around. Now at this moment I'm at the point that I wasn't very satisfied with. Now what I'm going to do, I want it a little bit thicker. So not too much, but just a little. So I'm going to take a row of seed beads. That's the best way to fill up small gaps that just need a little bit more filling, but not too much. Just take some seed beads and fill it up with the seed beads. And And as you can see, this pendant is a bit larger because the chips I used coral chips. The chips I used are just a little bit bigger than the chips in this one, because these are rose quartz, I think you call that, beads, and real pearls. So you can see this one is much larger than this one, but that is just because the beads are much bigger. If you have smaller beads, these are all 4mm beads and not larger than 4mm, you can wrap around easier in the pattern you want. So it's easier to how do you say that? It's easier to make smaller pieces on your wire, because the small beads fall in place much easier. So now again, I'm going to wrap one time with wire and with seed beads. So I'm just putting on some seed beads. Doesn't really matter to me which one, because they all look fine. 4 crappy seed beads. This was just a necklace that I bought from someone, and it fell apart. And then I just grabbed the beads together, put them in a large bag, and just the larger beads I didn't put in a bag, in the same bag. And now I have a seed bead mix. So that's also a thing you can use if you're on a budget. You can also, I don't know how much flea markets and stuff like that you have, or like second-hand shops, because if you buy second-hand jewelry, it doesn't really have to be expensive, as long as you make sure that it's glass and that all the beads are intact. Because sometimes if people wear the jewelry, as you know, I think as you know, you can have discoloration, and you don't want that on your beads. So let's see, this is better. As you can see, it's much more straight now. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this point, and I'm going to make the overlapping. You can see that from this point this is big, and from this point it starts to go small. I want a little bit more refinement here. So I'm just going to wrap around until I am at this piece. So I'm just going to do that the same way. And always go back. Also, if you don't need to fill up stuff, you need to go back with the wire, because in that way you secure all your beads to your to the wire and to the work, so to the beads themselves. Oh, and just a thing. Can you please tell me how you like my new light? I bought a small little lamp, and it's a LED lamp. I don't know, LED lamp. And it's a small lamp, and I can attach that to my video standard, so where I can put my camera on. And I really like it because I can see better what I'm doing, so I don't need my reading glasses for projects. So that's really nice. But also I have a feeling that you can see better on the camera what I'm doing. Maybe the colors are a little bit more vibrant than they are in real life. But in that way you can maybe see better what I'm doing. So this is not a fine project, so maybe you can better tell me at a fine project. But I would love to know if this lighting is better than what I usually have. Because what I usually have is also good, but I always have the feeling that that it's a little bit yellow, and this is more of a white light. So I really like this. But please tell me if you also like it, or that it is too vibrant or something like that. So now you can see I filled up that small gap. So now you can see that the way this flows is better. It's more of an upgoing shape now. So I'm just going to model this a little bit. Now I'm going to wrap my wire around again, just until I'm at the end. And be careful with your middle piece that you don't wrap your wire around that and then damage your end piece. It can be that if you do this wrapping, you get a hole somewhere, and then you just need to attach more beads. Now, as you can see, I filled this one a little bit more up than I did with my previous pendant, because this one has a little bit more wire, but in that way it also this one really hangs to the beneath, and this one more hangs like this, and this one more like this. So this one is this part is going down, and because this is bigger than this piece or this piece, the weight will go down this way. So, and I really don't like this bead that's here, because that looks so weird. But that's okay. This is just my one of my practice pieces. Now I'm at the end, and I'm going to wrap just the wire just around the base wire, just about 2 or 3 times, and then I'm going to tuck it in the beads, and I'm just going up to the beads again, so like this, towards the beads, over the beads again. You can see I use 2 different wires, but you can't really see, so I really like that, and it doesn't look very odd or something. And I'm going to try to go back all the way up through to the starting point. Now I can really feel that my beads are more secure, and the way the back is all the way filled up, and it doesn't really have to look as good as the front. You can make it as good as a look as you like, of course. Well, my wire is almost finished. I'm almost out of wire. Now I'm going to pick a piece, and I'm going to pick this one just like we did before. Just wrap it around. Nothing special. It won't come off. I tested it because I wore it and I wiggled it a little, but it didn't come off. So I'm just using my pliers to give it a little bit more strength, a little bit more pulling strength. Now, and when I can't pull it anymore, just going to tuck it in underneath my beads, like this, and then push it, and there you have your pendant. And that's as easy as this. As you can see, this is the same structure. Maybe this one is a little bit more up here, but this is the same structure as this one, only this one is with smaller beads. So it depends on how small your beads are, how big your pendant will be. You can just use a regular thick wire. The making of the heart always is the same. You can make them as small as you want, as big as you want, just what you like. And as I said, you can also use second-hand beads. It doesn't really matter, just what you like. You can make it as budget as you like, or as expensive if you like to make it expensive. I use real pearls here. They aren't so expensive in our country, but I use real pearls and chips of rose quartz, and I used check glass beads and some Toho and Miyuki seed beads. So this one is more expensive. I could have used also Swarovski, you can use that too. And this one is less expensive because what I said, I only bought the coral chips and the rest is all second-hand. One is a second-hand necklace, and the coconut beads are second-hand bought too, because someone bought all kind of colors and then sold it second-hand on, or not used second-hand, but second-hand on Marktplaats. That's a site like eBay. So I hope you like this project. The only thing you need to do now is to take your ring and just attach it like you would do with a normal ring on your wire, and then you can just hang it on a necklace or something. So that's all there is to it. It is not hard, it is very easy. This is a real beginner's project. It only takes some time, and I hope you like this project, and I hope to see you soon. Please join me on Facebook, as I always say, because projects like these I always show on Facebook first before they come up on video, or at least I try. Most of the time I only, I first show it on Facebook. You can follow me on Pinterest. I usually pin stuff from other people, and once in the time, when I have the time, I put all my stuff that I made myself on Pinterest. So you can pin that if you like. And I hope to see you in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this project, and I wish you a very nice day. Bye bye!